Want to know how we create this look? This is what we call our custom finish, and anytime we do one of these on one of our dresser tops or one of our drawer fronts, we always get asked how we do it, and today we're going to show you how. Let's go. It took us a really long time to figure out a technique that we liked to create a grain-like effect on pieces that don't have a good grain, or we want a different color, or if you run into the issue where you have two different pieces of woods put together, and how to create a uniform look, but maybe with a different color, and just to make your grain enhance a little bit. Our goal of our custom finishes is to not create like a fake look, but just to enhance and make it look very natural. So how do we do it? The products that I'm going to be using today are General Finishes products, and I'm going in with these glazes. I have Van Dyke Brown, I have Smoky Gray, and I have Winter White. This is the combination that I really like to do most of the time. I just think it's so pretty. But one of the key ingredients is extender, and this is a General Finish product too. And it does what it says. It extends your working time. So the first thing that we do is we have sanded this down, and we have put a top coat on it, and then we just did a light sanding so it has a very nice smooth surface. Now we do the top coat because we don't want it to seep into the wood grain. I want to be able to move the product around a little bit, and this helps it not to absorb as much. So let's get going, and I'm going to show you how we do it. To start actually with this one, and I'm going to take my chip brush and I'm going to very lightly dip it in the white glaze, and then I'm going to get most of it off. It's kind of a dry brushing technique if you're familiar with that, but I'm going to just kind of very lightly get it all over the top. And then I'm going to start very light, because you can always add more, but you can't take away. I'm gonna put it on and wipe it off. Now, I can tell with this wood that I can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm just going to keep adding. The thing is to be consistent. So once you figure out your technique, is to stay consistent throughout it all. So I'm going to just do a very light stroke across, and then I'm going to just keep adding more as I like. And it also helps to change the angle of your brush as well. Make sure that you're coming off the sides and getting the bottoms too. The first coat always looks pretty bad, but you can see it's starting to lighten up a little bit. I'm getting some white. I like to go with my lighter color first and just add from there. Now I've got a lot on here, so I'm not gonna dip it in my cup. I'm just going to dip it from my rag. And I'm gonna keep putting on, because I'm coming in with some darker colors later. So I really wanna lighten this up. This has a bit of yellow in the wood, and I don't really care for yellow. So my goal is to try to get that out. And don't forget the top right there too. Yeah, I'm really happy with this so far. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more, and then I'm going to switch over to the brown and then the gray. I have a lot left on my rag, so I am going to dip in here. I like to keep a cup of extender handy just in case I went a little overboard. The extender can kind of almost help erase it, or at least it kind of dulls the amount that you put on. See, I put way too much on right there. I got a little heavy-handed, but I caught it pretty quick and wiped it back. And it's not bad, but right here, it's a little much. So I can take just a little bit of extender and put it on. I may just like go ahead and wipe it over the entire thing and watch what happens. I've put it on the entire thing and it just takes some of the harshness out of the white strokes. So this is my first coat, which is the white. So now I told you that I start light, like with my lighter colors, and I add on to it, but I am going to change around and go with the Van Dyke Brown next, which is my darker color because I'm ending with this lighter color. So I'm kind of sandwiching in that darker color. So if it's too dark, I can lighten it with the smoky gray. So, okay, so just as a reference, I'm going to try to hold these two up together. The top is what we started with, and the bottom drawer is the one I just did. So now I'm going to do this drawer. I'm going to do the same technique, and then hopefully this will kind of help blend and make it so that you can't notice that I've got two different woods on this drawer. Okay, so now I have done both drawers, and if you're really looking closely, if you're really being particular, I think you can look and see which one had, let's see if I can, maybe I should hold these two together. If you're really being picky, I think you can look and see which one is the two woods together, but I think you can agree that it is already looking a lot more uniform and a lot more acceptable. So, one thing that I did do when I was putting these on is I kind of put them in the same light together because these drawers are going to be side by side on the top of the dresser. So I put them side by side as I was doing this just so that I could have my eyes on and make sure that they looked consistent and uniform. So now I'm done with the white and I'm going to move on to the gray, no, to the brown. So I'm gonna bring my brown over here and I'm going in with a new chip brush, and these glazes, they do separate kind of quickly, so I'm just gonna give it a little stir so that it has a nice color to it. And I also go in with a new rag, but I keep my old white rag just so that I can further help blend it. Again, very lightly. Anytime I'm going in with a new color or anything, I always start light because while the white didn't absorb very quickly, the brown may. So going over very lightly. I want this to be light, so I'm not going to put a lot on this. Depending on what color you want, I always go with the color that I really want as my first coat. So if I wanted to go darker, have like a darker contrasting drawer, I would go in with my brown first because that's going to be my heaviest color. I know I want this to be lighter, so the white is what's going to take me the longest time because I'm going to really make sure that I have that base coat as the color that I want. I may end here because I like that. I like this little bit of brown that kind of gives it that cool grain look to it. But just for like educational purposes and just to see. This is my cup of extender. I'm going to dip my brush in and we're gonna see what it looks like. I'm going to lightly put it on and it's going to make these colors blend a little bit better together. And kind of take some of the brush strokes out. I really like this. So I'm going to go and do it on my next short. See how quick that was compared to the white coat that I did. Now, even more, like even with my second color, now you really can't tell which drawer had the two woods together. I'm really happy with this so far. So the next thing we're going to do is our gray. So I am going to separate these so that they're not so close together. Dipping it in my gray. I do like to kind of mix all these colors together. I think it helps helps it all blend. And wipe it back. So the gray is going to lighten what I just did. And I think the gray is a good combination to blend the white and the brown together to really give it a cool look and to soften it all up. So if you can kind of see, I'm going to add a little bit more gray to it. Really cool, beachy, driftwood look to it. I really like it. So just a subtle, I feel like showing you these two together, it hasn't really changed the color of it so much, but it did take away some of the harsh brush strokes from the brown and kind of softened it up a bit. Didn't quite change the color as much, but I'm gonna put it into the chest and see what I think about it. And if I think it's too dark, I may go in with a little bit more white and lighten it up some more. Because I do want a very light contrast from this to the color that we. So let's put these two up beside each other and let's see how they look. Oh yeah, no, I'm happy with it. I think, look at these two together. I think they look pretty well matched, and I really have to look to see which one has the two different woods on it. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, and then this is some high performance top coat. After this has dried, about the time that I put all this up, these will be dry and I can put on a top coat because you do have to seal this. So after I do that, I'm gonna put a light top coat on here and then I'm gonna be done. Okay, so here's what it looks like in the chest of drawers. I'm very happy with how light it looks. I'm very happy with how uniform it looks. And so now I'm going to seal it. Next, I'm sealing this with high performance top coat, also by General Finishes. And I'm just going to put a light coat on. Is if we are doing a dresser top and we're going to do 2 or 3 coats of this, we do a light scuff sanding in between coats, which kind of helps get out any bubbles or brush strokes that may still be left, which leaves us a really, really smooth finish. Like we found that's a really good trick into having a nice smooth finish. And we're done. Thank you so much for following along. If you liked this, give this a like and make sure that you're subscribed so that you're the first to know when we put a new video out. Thank you.